Hello, and welcome to another episode of Contemporary Living Live, where we provide lifestyle solutions for everyday people. We cannot thank you enough for just being here, but not just being here, but being here for season two, episode one. And we hope you did have a happy new year. So, are you ready? Are you ready to bring that big energy every day for the next 12 months? I know I am. And if you're watching this program, I know you're the type of person that wants that too and will do that too because I know you haven't gone rogue yet over your resolutions. I mean, it's January 2nd. So I know we're still keeping up with those New Year's resolutions for those who do New Year's resolutions. So guess where we are? We are in the great state of Florida. Happy to be back in 80 plus degree weather. Man, I get it. Chicago, we got love for you, but this Florida weather is, it's keeping us. It's keeping us. So, yeah, we are just happy to be back in the great state of Florida on our journey, our snowbirding journey for the winter season. So as always, we have housekeeping notes. So where can you find Contemporary Living? You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us posting now on IG. And if you want to get in contact with us, go to Contemporary Living at e360.com. That's Contemporary Living at E360 at e360tv.com. We're not hard to find, and we want to hear from you. We welcome messages, we welcome comments, suggestions to our site because we want to hear more from you in 2022. So today, I know it's January 2nd. Any hangovers? Anybody did worship service? What did you do for the new year? It's January 2nd, and our guest is no stranger to this show. He's been on hiatus, so that should give you a hint, right? But we are so glad to have him back tonight to talk careers. Andre Hill has been in the housing industry for more than 10 years, starting with as a Section 8 housing inspector turned leasing agent, and now a real estate agent with Realty One Group Excel. He is also a property management expert and an Airbnb ambassador host. Mr. Hill has served his community over the years, ensuring residents have safe and sanitary living conditions while fighting for decent, affordable housing. As a president of the beautification committee. He's an author. He is an author of two books: Quick Tips When Searching for a House to Sell, to rent. We're talking about real estate today. So searching for a house and life as a Section 8 inspector. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host, my business partner, my husband, Mr. Andre Hill. There you are.
Hello. So this is how I feel to be in the green room, huh?
Yeah, that's how it
I'm
feels
used
to
to
be
putting
in the
people in
green
the
room.
green room.
Right. And then, I'm new to all of this. You usually do it. So we got some hiccups along the way. So I'm green when it comes to, well, actually maybe yellow or red. I'm green when it comes to yellow or red when it comes to doing all this. Now I really have a respect for what you were doing while I was just asking questions. So thank
Right,
you for
right.
that.
Yes, I appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate the introduction. You're making me feel good. But I don't know. I feel like I'm in a pressure cooker right now. So I'm not doing an
You feel like
interviewing
you're in
now. I'm
pressure
being
cooker? Oh yeah,
interviewed.
brother. Oh yeah. So how was your new year? Tell us a little bit about that.
Our New Year was excellent. We went down to Hilton Head, South Carolina. We spent our New Year's there, kind of mild relaxation, relaxing stuff like that. So our New Year's was
Hmm.
great. So I'm excited about 2022, definitely.
Do you make resolutions, or what do you do? Because I know you, but maybe the audience doesn't know how you operate. So what do you do?
No, we really don't do resolutions. We do vision boards, I guess, if you want to call it your
Hmm.
resolutions. But we kind of focus, you and I, on our vision, where we looking to be in 2022, where we looking to be the next 5, 10 years down the line. So yeah, so more so a vision board than anything. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So hey, I know you ready to hop into these questions.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, I'm definitely ready tonight.
Hey, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? So we're gonna start off with the first one. We're gonna do some little jabs. I guess you can call them little jabs. So what led you to the real estate industry? How did you even like how that thought come up?
Well, actually, I was in retail. I had did retail store managing for well over 10 years. I got tired of retail. My last retail stop, I was a store manager at GameStop, and I thought I was going to be a GameStop for the long haul. But when they started changing rules and policies, and as a store manager started having us work longer hours, I decided it was time for something different. So, long
Mm-hmm.
story short, somebody came to me and said, "Look, Chicago Housing Authority is hiring for Section 8. They need Section 8 inspectors like ASAP." So honestly, I went down. I applied Wednesday. They called me Thursday, hired me Friday. So and then I had to take a week off my regular job because I had to take the national exam, the NARO exam, and you had to pass the NARO exam with
Mm-hmm.
75%. So I played hooky from work for a week, and I'm like, man, I got to pass this exam. Well, I ain't gonna have no job. Period. So long
We're
story
at
short,
GameStop.
yeah. I was a store manager at GameStop. I did Anna's Linens. I was managing at Office Depot. So I did a lot of retail, and they was asking for longer hours, but less pay. So I knew right then it was
Ooh.
time for me to find something different, and that's how I ended up getting into the Section 8 voucher program. Well, as
Now,
an inspector.
okay, so as we talk about the real estate industry, so technically Section 8 is part of the real estate industry. So what,
Mm-hmm.
what does a Section 8 inspector do exactly?
Yeah, so let me go back and let our audience know what is Section 8. So Section 8 is a housing voucher program where the government helps those that are in financial need that barely makes a living monthly. So the voucher program helps those individuals find affordable housing that's safe and sanitary. So so that's what the Section 8 voucher program deals with.
Yeah.
So normally Section 8 normally pays about 70% of the rent. The tenant normally pays about 30%. There are situations where people will pay, the Section 8 will pay 100%, depending on the people's income. That's pretty much in a nutshell what Section 8 is. So as
Mm-hmm.
an inspector, I go in, I'm making sure that the house is in decent, safe, and sanitary conditions. So I'm inspecting water heaters, furnaces. I'm making sure that people have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. I'm making sure that their doors and windows lock properly. So I'm going in testing the electrical, making sure that everything is hooked up properly. So over my 10-year, 8-year span as a Section 8 inspection, I inspected about at least over
Right.
100,000 homes in the Chicago South suburbs.
That's a lot of houses to be going in, brother. I
Yeah, it
wonder,
is.
you know what it made me think of? Like in in COVID times, I wonder how they're doing that program. That's real interesting because as a section, I'm sure they still have section. It didn't end
Mm-hmm.
when you stopped doing Section 8. So I wonder just what the procedures are now. It's probably really stringent, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, now they're back to regular inspections, but prior to, from my understanding, because I still have connection with those in the Section 8 industry, they was pretty much dealing with more so
Right.
emergencies than anything, emergency inspections. Emergency inspections
Okay.
can be
I got
anywhere from no heat, no water, anything that's pretty much considered dangerous. That's when they would send them out.
it. Okay. Okay. Now, so we're going to shift from Section 8 inspections. Let's talk
Hmm.
about the fact that you were a leasing agent and now you're a realtor. So the first thing I want to know is what's the difference between a leasing agent and a realtor?
Right. So
Because we're
in
talking
Illinois, you
careers
have two
here.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah, careers. Yeah. So in Illinois, they have what they have two types of license you can get. In Illinois, you can do leasing agent, or you can become a realtor. Now, the leasing agent, you pretty much focus on. The only thing you can do as a leasing agent is rent houses. So you're pretty much dealing strictly with rentals. So and then with the real estate, as a real estate agent, I can do sale houses and I can do rentals. So the difference is one, you can just do leasing, and one, you can do leasing and sell homes. Both can be lucrative. You can make money off both. As you know, I was a pretty good leasing agent. Not to be bragging, not to toot my own horn, but I was a pretty good leasing agent, and I still got some skills. I might add, but then I went on and got my lease real estate license last year.
Okay. So what are the requirements to become like a leasing agent versus becoming a realtor? Are the requirements the same? What are some of
Yeah,
the
you got the same requirements.
basic
You at least got
requirements?
to be 19 years of age in order to get to be licensed. Of course, no criminal background or anything like that, no felonies. That is to qualify for either or.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Now I want to go back to Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
Um now it's a lot of negativity that surrounds Section 8.
Absolutely, still is.
So what can you say that right. So what can you say positive because you got so many years of experience being in Section 8? A lot of people think just because you on Section 8, you take it from the government, you on welfare, you don't work, and
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what can you tell us in your years of experience about Section 8 people and what you've experienced about them?
Well, Section 8 is actually an excellent program, whether people believe it or not. From my experience, that's why I started the book, Life as a Section 8 Inspector. From my experience, less than 1% of the houses that you go into are destroyed. The one thing I've loved about Section 8 as being an inspector, that each day is different. When I say each day is different, you meet people from all walks of life. You meet people with college degrees. You meet people that got master degrees. You meet people that have lost their loved ones. You meet all sorts of people that's dealing with
Mhm.
illnesses and sicknesses. You meet a lot of politicians. You meet a lot of doctors and investors and stuff like that. So each and every day is different. So it's a stereotype. These people, majority of people are not tearing up the homes on Section 8. A lot of the people, they are good individuals. And then there are people that actually, honestly, a lot of people I met, they have degrees, but they just couldn't find jobs. And
Okay.
ironically, stats show the majority of people that do have college degrees, when they get out of school, they can't even find jobs. So the Section 8 program is a good program, but you
Yeah.
still have those that kind of discriminate against those that's on the voucher program.
So how can you tell if somebody's being discriminated against? Because I know that's one of the things you do if you fight for fair housing. How could you tell? Is it a way to
Well,
tell?
in Illinois,
That-
yeah, in Illinois, legally, Section 8 is considered your income in Illinois. So if somebody come to you and say they have a Section 8
Mhm.
voucher program, legally in Illinois, you can't tell nobody you don't accept Section 8. It's against the law. So I know they got the South Suburban Housing, I think it's South Suburban Housing Community, Alderman Monica Holden, and she sits on one of them boards in Richmond Park, and they fight for those injustices, for those that discriminate against those in the Section 8 voucher program, because they need housing as well, just like anybody else. But yeah, so legally, Section 8 is your income in Illinois, and then also technically you don't supposed to tell nobody that you don't take Section 8. So what I deal with now is owners. They be like, well, they got to make 3 times the monthly rent, and we accept the Section 8 program, but you got to make 3 times the monthly rent, and you got to have like a 650 credit score. So they know as a Section 8 voucher holder, you're not going to make 3 times the monthly rent, because if you're making 3 times the monthly rent, guess what? You want to be on a Section 8 program.
right.
So they try to have their little terminology to go around it. But by me being on both sides of the fence as a realtor and a Section 8 inspector, I kind of combat that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, give me one. Do you have any tearjerker stories about Section 8, or give me one
Yeah.
good story, or give me some drama? Give us what you got.
um, I do have. I had one case with the individual. It was a sad case over in Richmond Park. Actually, I still remember the building, and the lady had lost her daughter. Um, Apparently, the daughter had just turned 40. Her and the boyfriend got into it, and the boyfriend stabbed the girl 40 times, killed her.
Mm,
And so to listen to the lady tell you that, it was just heartbreaking. Had
yeah,
tears in my eyes, bro. It's like hard doing the inspection because you listen to these stories, or then you run across those
yeah.
that you do the inspections each and every year to come to find out the following year when you go back to their house they done died. Um, Stuff like that. And then I had one crazy incident where the lady was cussing out the maintenance guy. She comes out like the house butt naked, cussing, fussing. And so I like, she's like, you come on in and do my inspection. I'm like,
What?
man, I can't do your inspection until you put your clothes on. Once you put your clothes on,
Right,
then I
right.
come do your inspection. So that's like one of the wildest stories I heard. So yeah. But overall the experience is great.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go to now. Let's move into real estate and your life as a realtor.
Hmm.
So I'm a Section 8 inspector. I've
Hmm.
been agent, been there and done that. What was that moment that made you say, you know what? Let me actually get into real estate. What was going on with you then that made you decide, let me let me do something different?
When I went to get my leasing license, it was more money. I needed more money.
Mm-hmm.
Section 8 was okay, but they weren't paying the way they should pay that I felt. So,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, I met Paul Kemper, and I'm with Realty One Group XL. They was Kemper Realty at the time, and I used to always do his Section 8 inspections. And I'm like, I heard about this leasing agent and stuff like that. I said, I think I'm going to become a leasing agent. Can you make money out there? He's like, sure. He said, I'm gonna talk to my wife Tina, and I'll get with you and let you know if we have if we want to hire a leasing agent because they had nothing but realtors. He got back with me literally later that evening and said, look, my wife said we willing to bring a leasing agent on. And so I was like, man, wow, okay. So I went and started studying for my exam. It's like 55 questions. So I went and studied hard and passed it on the first go around.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that because I hear the exam is tough. What's that exam like for somebody that's thinking about getting a career? And by the way, Paul and Tina, we interviewed them, and this is just for
Mm-hmm.
the people that are watching now. We interviewed Paul and Tina, so you can go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page and find that interview that we did with Paul and Tina. It was a great interview. They gave us insights on real estate and things like that. But back to this
Yeah,
realtors exam.
yeah, yeah.
So what does it consist of?
Well, the real estate exam, well, the leasing exam pretty much just deals with the leasing aspect of it. Then you got the realtor exam, which is about 150 questions. It deals with not only leasing, but it deals with selling. Only 46% of people in Illinois pass it on the first go around. I literally have a friend
That
now
part.
that's still taking the exam a year later, still trying to pass the exam, but she's determined. So eventually, I believe she's going to pass. But pretty much, I tell everybody, whatever you learn in school, erase it when you get out of school because none of that stuff you learn, the school's going to teach you how to pass the exam. But then it's the
Mhm.
real world once you get past the exam. A lot of people don't talk about the real world because a lot of times we watch television and we watch all the real estate shows, but it's a total different beast once you get your license. So the exam
Mhm.
is more so and honestly, whatever you learn on the exam, I mean, learning in class, you're not going to see the same thing on the exam because the exam is more scenario based than
Mhm.
anything. It's going to give you a lot of scenarios, and if you don't know your
Mhm.
terminology, it's going to be hard for you to pass that exam. But one thing I tell people, the advice I give people that's looking to get their real estate license in Illinois, get Exam Smart. Examsmart.com helps you pass the exam, and then understanding when you take that real estate exam, remember that it's all about the tenants in Illinois. I'm speaking from Illinois standpoint because I got an Illinois license. Illinois exam is all about the tenants. It's not about the owners. So remember that when you're taking that state exam when you're trying to get your leasing license, well, or in real estate license.
Okay, so another thing that leads something that you said kind of triggered this question. So what was the educational process? Did you just pick up a book and read it, or what was the educational process for you to lead you up to taking that exam?
Well, actually, the reason I went and took the real estate exam because I felt after doing leasing so long, I needed something to challenge my mind. And I heard this real estate exam for your license was like a total different beast. That this exam was the exam of all exams. So I buckled down and I studied, and I went to a school called I Love Real Estate. Shout out to my teacher Art Batusi, Gaga. I went to I Love Real
Yes,
Estate.
Gaga.
Yeah, I know. He was saying it so much, my wife started saying it. So that's what she was saying it in class. But I did. I Love Real Estate out of Chicago. I did the online class. And Art, what the good thing about him is, I think it's all about, if you're doing studying online, that you have a teacher that keeps your attention from what time we was in class, from like 4 to 10 or something like that, 6 to 10, something like that. It was long. So I don't know how kids do this homeschooling. So, but with that there, with that real estate exam, yes, I did. I love real estate, and that's who I went to do my studying, and I did everything online from home.
Okay. And one of the things that you mentioned was, I know we got Selling Tampa now, you got Millionaire Listing. You
Mm-hmm.
think of a real estate agent, you think they balling out, because guess what? They in the heels, they in the clothes, they
Yeah.
driving the cars and selling the homes. So it all looks very glamorous. But how much how much does an average realtor actually make?
Statistically, most realtors make between 41,000 to 47,000, which is okay. Just because you sell $1 million home, you're not getting $1 million check. You put 9 times out of 10, you get maybe 3% check, 2.5% of that. So
Yeah.
you really have to sell a lot of homes just to make that millionaire status as a realtor. So a lot of times people, they see that on television, but don't forget, these people, they on television. They in front of millions of people each and every day. And don't forget, television, a lot of stuff that's not reality. They're selling drama. They ain't selling real estate for
Hmm.
so people want, they tuning in for the drama more so than the real estate.
Yeah, I had just looked it up while you were talking, and it says they've got right now, as of 2021, from realestateagent.com. So there are a lot of realtors out there, but that is that really a big number, do you think, for realtors? 1.4 million, seeing as though we have 300 plus million citizens.
Well, I know Illinois has a shortage of realtors. That I do know. They mentioned that in school.
Uh-huh.
So it's not a lot of realtors out there. And remember, most real estate people that get a real estate license, they quit within the first 2 years, because then nobody tell them
Kind
that.
of like businesses.
Yeah, kind of like businesses. Advice I would give to people that's looking to, what you're gonna have to do when you get your real estate license. There's so much you can do. You can do property management. You can do, just deal with buyers. You can deal with sellers. You can deal with wholesaling. You can deal with, just dealing with tax issues. There's so much you can do, and you have to find your niche. What do I want to do in real estate once I get my license? Because you can't do it all. And one thing I learned
Hmm.
about this year alone, as you know, that you cannot do it all in real estate. You got to find what you want to do, buckle down in that particular area, learn it, master it, read it, study it. Follow people on YouTube, following people in real estate that's doing what you want to do in real estate in order to be successful.
That's some awesome advice. And you know what? That led up to, actually, that was the next question. Because it's got to be more than buying and selling houses, because you could, and that's really the basic function, I think, of real estate. But there, like you said, there's so many different aspects of that. So what aspect of real estate have you been interested in, or are you being drawn to, do you feel?
I recently, within the last 2 to 3 weeks, I decided to focus strictly on wholesale selling. Um, First, I was looking into just finding people that want to buy homes when I first got in real estate. But buying, I'm gonna just be honest with you, do I didn't want to show people 20, 40 houses for people to nitpick and be picky. Because me personally, we got a lot going on, and I don't have the time for that. And then I ran across some deals where I was working with people 3 or 4 months. Literally, I had a deal, as you know, 3 months prior to close. I mean, 3 days prior to closing, the person disappeared, backed out, didn't hear nothing from them to this day. Um, so more so, I'm dealing with
Messing with our
wholesaling.
money.
Right, that's what our money, right? So I started dealing with more so of sellers. People, the selling is a little bit more easy because you find an owner that wants to sell their property. You get the pictures, you do the contracts, and then you put the lockbox on it, and it pretty much it flows from there. And then wholesaling, which I'm focusing on now, is when you go out and you find distressed properties that's been sitting in your neighborhood for years. Find the owner. And a lot of times those owners want to sell that property for a little bit of nothing. You make them buy it for 20, 30,000. Guess what? Get it rehab. You sell it for 100,000, and say you put $30,000 to get it back up and running. So you just spent $50,000. You just sold it for 100,000. You got a $50,000 profit. So and guess what? The good thing about wholesaling, what I began to learn about, I'm not waiting 3 to 4 months to get paid. I'm getting paid within 4 to 6 weeks. That's a big difference, especially if you're an individual that got family and stuff like that. Now, the good thing about being here in Florida, you don't need a license to wholesale. So me and you could go out tomorrow, which I got a list, where we could drive through Titusville and find some distressed properties and see if those owners want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Illinois,
Right.
of course, you need a license to wholesale in Illinois. So that's my focus. I'm going to be wholesaling. I have joined some groups and following some people, and I'm now getting mentored by those that does wholesaling. They do it good.
Okay. So I like the fact that there's different, aspects of it. Now let's go back to the license because you said in Florida you're able to do things too. So you said your license is out of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
With a license in Illinois and do real estate in Florida, how does that work?
Okay, so in Illinois, of course, if I do any type of real estate transaction, you got to be licensed in Illinois. Illinois want all the money. I'm gonna just let you know, people. They want all the money. So Illinois is gonna get their
That's
cut,
how
no
we
matter what you
roll.
do. Yeah, yeah. Illinois, they gonna get your money, which is fine. Now, when you go to Florida, Florida's a little bit lenient when it comes to wholesaling versus just regular real estate. Regular real estate, of course, you need a license here. But with wholesaling, you don't need a license. You go out and find somebody, like I said, that's trying to get rid of these properties that's distressed. They may be in pre-foreclosure. They may have lost a loved one, and the house just sitting there. And they want to get rid of it because guess what? They tired of paying the taxes on it every year. So with that being said, you can find that individual that's willing to get rid of that property, and then you can wholesale it for a little bit of nothing, or you can use somebody else's money and do some flips, fix and flips, and get it up and running and make some extra money.
Okay, so that's good. So now your license is in Illinois. So can you, like, say for instance, if you wanted to buy and sell homes in Indiana, what would I have to do? Or buy and sell in Florida? Now we know you just said wholesaling, you don't need that in the state of Florida. So I'm seeing a large state regulated type of industry in real estate. I mean, you have your U.S. government, your federal, and then
Mm-hmm.
but the state seems like they have a big hand in how real estate works.
Well,
So
yeah,
how would
Illinois
you,
do.
like, if you wanted to sell? Uh-huh. Yeah. But I guess my question is, if you wanted to sell homes, is it transferable? Is the license transferable? Can I get my license
Um,
in Illinois and then go sell in different states?
Well, they have what they call you can get your what they call reciprocity. And I can do now. Even by me having an Illinois license, I can go get an Indiana license with what they call reciprocity, which I don't have to take this whole national exam again. So the only thing I have to do by Illinois, Indiana being reciprocity states is I can go get my Indiana license, just take the state exam, which is like 50, 55 questions. Same with Florida. I can do the same with Florida, thank God. They say Florida got one of the hardest exams in the world, well, in the country rather, with Florida. So, but the good thing about me having my Illinois license, I can go get a Florida license, just take state exam for 55 questions. Now, we did talk about getting a Florida license, but since I found out I can do wholesaling without a license in Florida, I'm thinking, why go get the license? Unless, I decide I want to, but as of right now, I'm gonna see how the wholesaling working without the license. But eventually, I probably
Okay.
will just to have those credentials.
All right. So guess what? We're done with the top of the hour, Andre. Mr. Andre, we are done with the top of the hour, and we're going to go right into a commercial, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do a little few real estate questions, and then we're going to talk about the next 12 months. Airbnb careers here today on Contemporary Living, and we are going to a commercial. We just love promoting our businesses on this channel. You saw Andre Hill, real estate agent. You saw him with his commercial, and then you saw our coffee commercial. We love partnering. We love promoting our own businesses, and we love partnering with small business who are just like us because we believe teamwork makes the dream work. So if you are looking to promote your business or service, then do it right here on Contemporary Living. For a small fee, we will create and promote a 30-second spot and air it on our social media and our live for an entire month. You can reach out to us at Contemporary Living at 360 at e360tv.com. That's Contemporary Living at e360tv.com. So we are talking with Andre Hill about real estate, and we're going to go into the Airbnb ambassadorship and hosting because we're talking careers, and we want to know, is this might be the career for you. So let's bring Andre back in. What up? What up? What up?
Hey, that guy on that commercial look good.
Yeah, he does. He really does. So I want to go back to. I really want to go back to. Speaking of that commercial, let's talk about. You had five things on there. Let's talk about some of those things. So first was, pricing. Tell us a little bit about that when it
Yeah,
comes to the
normally,
housing. The reason why your housing. I'm talking about your commercial.
yeah,
Where the guy look good. Let's talk about the
yeah,
info inside of it.
yeah. So I created a commercial, five reasons your house wasn't selling, and then one of the reasons were the
Right.
price. So normally, if the price is too high, your house will sit on the market for a while. So as an agent, sometimes we gotta let the owner know, look, your price is too high. We're gonna have to lower the prices. I know I had to do that for one of the places I had in South Village, because after the rehab calls for them people to come in and rehab and fix it up and stuff like that, um, we had to lower the price because other than that, it would have just sat there.
Yeah. And then the second thing you talked about was bad photos.
Oh yeah, don't be cheap about it. Now you're trying to sell your house, you need to get you a good photographer. Or unless you got an awesome iPhone like I do, but still, we still gonna hire a photographer, somebody professional, that's gonna come out and take the pictures. Normally, you get a good photographer for about 150, $100 to $150. We use our Airbnb photographer for our photos.
Okay. And then I think on the third one was no staging. Why is staging important? What is staging? Because maybe we got some people that are watching that don't know what staging is. And why is it important?
Yeah, if you when you get into some of them bigger markets where you're selling houses for maybe 500,000, close to a million, yeah, a lot of people they like to stage it to make it look, when they walk in there, give them a sense of they're at home, give them a nice sense of feeling. Me and you, we love HGTV, so a lot of times when we watching it, they stage in the house where they making the house look. Not only have they rehabbed it, but they put in the nice furniture, the nice beds, the countertops, and stuff like that people like when they walk into the house.
It's so funny you talk about staging. I was watching a program. I think you were working, but I was watching some program, and the lady was
Uh-huh.
a realtor, and so she had the house stage, and then he was like, "Why does it smell like apple pie?" And she
Mm-hmm.
because she gave him a statistic, and she was like, "The reason is because she had an apple in the oven so it could smell like apple pie when she did her showing." She said, I
Yeah.
guess she gave some statistic that you sell more houses than homes smell like apple pie. That's crazy. The psychology behind all of
Mm-hmm.
the staging that occurs that people
Yeah.
don't even know they're getting seduced into it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So so remember that we need to get some of them those scents and keep them in the car. So when we doing some open houses as well, and then music
Right.
too. People like music, like you and I, we love bossa nova. It's like nice and relaxing. We listened to some of that on the
Mm-hmm.
boat today. Even the captain of the boat, like, man, that's
Yeah.
some relaxing, good music. So yeah, something like
Yeah.
some
I
bossa
think he's going to
nova.
change his music.
Yeah, I think so too. So I don't be surprised when we go back on the boat that it's smelling like apples and he got bossa nova on there.
Right. And then the last thing on there, and I think most important, no professional help. I cannot even in 2022 now trying to sell your house no professional help. But I know some people are out there. Well, I can let me look at YouTube.
Hey, I love you too, but but sometimes yeah, you
I
got to
do
get
too.
that.
No, not for YouTube, but
Yeah, professional help is good because you definitely want to make sure what your house can sell for. You want to know what's going on with the market, and then you want to make sure that you have lawyers in place that that can handle any issues that occur. And we got some awesome lawyers. Shout out to Harry Fournier over in Oak Brook, Illinois. Those are our lawyers for real estate we
yes,
use. They are
absolutely.
excellent. They be on top of it. Him and Allison and the crew. So we love our lawyers as well. Maybe we get them on the show one day.
Oh yeah, that would be great to have Harry on here. Yeah,
Yeah.
be great. If you notice, and we have a little lag, so there might be like a 5 second delay in the lag when I ask a question and Andre responds. That's because we've got a little lag. Hopefully, this situation will be fixed by next week. So, well, in two
Yeah.
more weeks. So, I just wanted to let the audience know. So let's get into this Airbnb.
Oh, good old
Mm,
Airbnb, huh?
let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it. First off, are I know we do Airbnb. Are you a fan of Airbnb?
You said repeat that question?
Are you a fan? You a fan of
Oh,
Airbnb?
I absolutely look behind me. We're in an Airbnb now. I should have put my camera around, but no, we in an Airbnb now. So we're being snowbirds, but yes, we
Gorgeous.
love Airbnb. Airbnb has treated us well over the last 2 to 3 years.
And I think Airbnb has treated us well as far as financially, as well as being customers of Airbnb
Mhm.
as well.
Yes.
So let's get into it. What made you decide to become an Airbnb host?
Well, you and I, we had originally we kept hearing about house hacking. So with Airbnb. So for those that don't know what house hacking is with Airbnb, house hacking is when you decide to take a vacation and you have somebody else pay for your vacation. So the way you do it is you rent out your house and to Airbnb while you go on vacation in Florida and stuff like that. So you and I, we tried it a couple of years ago. We went on a vacation in Florida, so we said we're gonna rent out our house to Airbnb. Our first guest, they stayed for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we made just for that week alone almost $900. So we're like, you know what? We kind of like this Airbnb model. So let's continue to do the Airbnb. And so we started then renting out our house to Airbnb.
Okay. So what made you stop renting out your house to Airbnb?
Well, one reason because somebody had a party there, but that comes with the territory. But we came up with a smarter idea, I
Yeah.
think, with Airbnb. And so the smart idea was one thing we learned about Airbnb that you could rent out anything, just about. So with Airbnb, you can rent out
Mm-hmm.
your just one room. You can rent out your whole house. You can rent out your backyard. You can rent out campers and RVs. And what we did, we said, let's try to rent out a camper. So what we did, we purchased the camper, and guess what? We realized that the cash flow was great. We realized that we didn't have to furnish a camper. You ain't got to buy beds. You ain't got to buy televisions. You ain't got to buy none of that stuff because guess what? All that already comes with the camper. So we figured, okay, that's a smart investment if we do it that way. And you got to think about it. You could buy a camper for anywhere between 10, 15, $20,000, which is way cheaper than having a building or a house. And guess what? Get just amount, just the cash flow is just as good doing it that route.
So what if somebody came to you and said, Andre, I really want to do Airbnb, but I'm scared. I'm scared. What would you tell that person?
Well, you got to get rid of fear. And fear is natural, but
Because I
fear,
think, a lot of times fear kind of prevents people from stepping into that next level of, yeah.
yeah, fear can stop you from doing anything in life. It can stop you in your career. It can
You were
stop you from
talking.
being it can stop you from being wealthy. So fear can stop you from doing a lot of things. But I tell people the thing about Airbnb, if you decide to rent out to Airbnb, they cover you up to $1 million. Guess what? Majority of our houses, majority of our space is not even worth $1 million. So that's the good thing about Airbnb to help conquer that fear. And then you just want to have policies in place with your Airbnb listing to kind of restrict some things like partying, smoking, bringing animals and stuff like that into your properties as well. And with Airbnb, just let people know that it's against
Okay.
Airbnb policy for anybody to have parties at your home.
Okay. Andre, I think we're having a bit of technical difficulty, but it sounds like I can hear you, but not directly. There you are. I hear you, but not directly. And you've answered the question. I didn't hear the answer to the question where you talked about fear, but I'm sure our audience heard it. So the question is, if somebody wanted to become a host, an actual host, we're not talking about fear. I'm over my fear. I'm ready to do it. What do they need to do? Because we're talking careers, and this might be something if they don't want to become a leasing agent or a realtor, something that they can do immediately starting in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So what would they need to do to become a
Yeah.
host?
Yeah, so if they have space in their home, they can start renting out a room, or they got extra property, they can start renting out their properties. What they can do, we can provide our link. They can use our link to go to the Airbnb.com and pretty much start setting up their property. So once you get a property that you're going to rent out, it's very simple. You can get it set up in a matter of no time, especially in the Chicago area. I can refer you over to our photographer. He can come out, take the pictures, and then you want to have a system in place. And when I say a system in place, you want to have a system in place to automate your house. You want to make sure that your thermostat is automated where you can control it through your cell phone, your door locks where you control it through your cell phone. You want to have cameras outside your home just so you can monitor what's going on outside your home as well. And then, of course, you got to make sure if you don't have furniture already, you want to have furniture. I recommend, if possible, that you get a king size bed because most people, statistically, with Airbnb, they always looking for these spots with king size beds as well. So you can get started. It don't take nothing but shoot less than 30 minutes to get you set up and get you on your way. And of course, you can reach out to me and I can help you get started as well.
Came in. So when we are ambassadors. How do you become an Airbnb ambassador?
So Airbnb has what they call super hosts. You and I, we are super hosts. So super hosts that you get almost 5-star ratings across the board. Now, if you do
How do you
super
become
hosts
an Airbnb
consistently for a
ambassador?
year,
Was
you
the
become
question.
an ambassador. We recently became ambassadors. So as ambassadors, we have you as an ambassador, you get more money for renting out your Airbnb. I think it's like 10% more versus just being a regular super host.
Hmm. What would you say is the number one thing if I became a host? What's the most important thing I need to be focused on as far as being an Airbnb host and servicing my customers?
Customer service. You can't outbeat.
Mm.
There's nothing like customer service. You and I, we pride ourselves on customer service, making sure people have what they want, what they need, and going the extra mile. Guess what? If my guests have an issue with something that I knew that should have been corrected or the housekeeping did messed up, I'm going to give them a little bit of money back. Because guess what? People love money. So it's been time where we didn't gave people $20, $25 back, and or we have treated them to breakfast or lunch just because something that we messed up on our end. Because guess what? People will remember that. People will remember how you treated them. People love quality. So we're going to make sure that we get people quality and service that when they come back the following year, guess what? They're going to remember how we treated them. So nothing trumps having great customer service, period.
Okay. That's good. Now let's go to your books. So tell us a little bit, because it's so funny. The time is winding down. So tell us a little bit. What inspired you to write quick tips when searching for a house to rent, and what inspired you to write Life as a Section 8 Inspector, and tell us a little bit about what those books are about.
Yeah, so I do life as a Section 8 inspector first. The reason I decided when I started writing that one there because the stigma behind Section 8. People always think Section 8 is a bad thing. So from a person that actually dealt with the tenants on a yearly basis, that actually went into these houses, I felt that from my experience, that it was best to talk about something that people don't talk about. People just talk about Section 8 when you walk in and you may run to somebody or run to an owner or stuff or a landlord or a tenant. You may hear about Section 8. But I didn't see no books out there that was
Yeah.
telling people about their Section 8 experience, what they dealt with as far as Section 8, how's the program, how's it dealing with individuals and people as well. When I wrote quick tips when looking for a house to rent, I began to find out as a leasing agent that people didn't know the basics as far as looking for a house. They didn't know that you need your photo ID, your last two check stubs. If you have a business, that you need to have your business license. You need to have your articles of incorporations and stuff like that. So I felt that these were items that people needed to know and learn when looking for houses. And from my experience, I'm like, man, it's a need that needs to be addressed because when people talk about real estate, the only thing they think about is just buying homes and selling homes. But real estate is far beyond buying and selling homes. Real estate, you also have those that rent homes. There's millions of people each and every day that's looking for houses to rent. Everybody's not buying a house. Everybody's not selling a house. There's a market out there for those that's looking to rent real estate, rent your house, your property, your land, and stuff like that. Don't forget about those individuals as well.
It's just so interesting to see the evolution. So you worked in as an inspector, a Section 8 inspector. So you wrote a book about that, to take care of the needs of people. Then you became a leasing agent. You wrote a book about that to take care of the needs of people. So As you look into the future, do you see anything as far as writing a book about real estate?
Not about real estate. There is a book I think I want to write. I thought about it, um, about just personal life, far as I guess in the church world. I want to talk about life in cults. And people don't, when you're dealing with church, a lot of churches, they're not churches, they're cults. And I would like to maybe deal with something on that in that aspect. That's more so a heartfelt book, more emotional book, a more reaching deep within myself type book. But I think it's something that perhaps is needed, because so people, it's a thin line between being in a cult and being in the church. And I think a lot of people need to understand that as well.
That. Yeah, but I've loved this because you've talked about three different careers. You've talked about Section 8 inspector, you've talked about leasing agent, and you talked about real estate. So, as you look into your future,
Mhm.
what do you what do you see yourself doing within the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, you and I destiny is interlocked and connected. Um, and now I'm beginning to understand that our plan got to be. I know we ask people the 5 year plan, but now your plan got to be 100 years down the line. I never forget James Dentley and Cara Dentley. This, shout out to James Dentley and
Hey
Cara,
James,
his
hey
wife.
Kurt.
They're,
The
they're
doctors.
millionaires. Right. And I remember one time they asked us that about a year and a half ago. And we're like, they asked us what was our goal 5 to 10 years from now. Um, or did we have goals? And long story short, we're like, yeah, we got a 5 year plan. They're like, no, you got to be planning 50 to 100 years out. And we're like, 50 to 100
Yeah,
years out. I think T.I. said most of us is planning for the weekend. And so when he said that, so now when you're thinking of 50 to 100 years
Ti
out,
did say that.
yeah. So when you think about 50 to 100 years out, I'm thinking about my grandkids, kids. When you think about the Vanderbilts, you think about the Rockefellers, you think about the Rochesters, the Rothschild. I'm sorry, you think about the J.P. Morgans, the Kennedys, and the list goes on. You're talking about generational wealth that has passed on from one generation to the next. So our plan should be 100 years out. So when you and I are gone, and God has called us home, that's passed on to the grandkids and the grandkids' kids.
And it's biblical, and it's something we believe in. You're supposed to take care of your children's children.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what other advice do you have for us today?
If you get into real estate, find your niche. Find out what you want to do. 2022, every year, everybody says it's gonna be my best year. Go out there, pursue your goals. Don't let nothing or no one stop you. Yep, you're gonna fail, but the only failure they always say is quitting. Never quit, never give up on your dreams, and keep fighting for what you want. Keep fighting for what you believe in. Don't stop. It's 2022. We're 2 days in, and I'm expecting some great things out of contemporary living. I'm expecting some great things out of our coffee brand. I'm expecting my wife to have some great wine tours or some great wine events this year. I'm expecting you to get your subscriptions up, yeah, and stuff like that for the coffee. This is our year, 2-2. I was born March 22nd, Melissa
Two,
June
two.
22nd, so we like the 2-2s, of course. So this is going to be a great year. I'm excited about it, and we got some great things ahead of us.
All right. Well, Andre, thank you for being, a guest on your show, Contemporary Living. We appreciate you, and we thank you for the information about real estate, about leasing, about Section 8, about becoming a realtor. We thank you for your information about Airbnb and how to get started. And you told us it's very easy to get started. Let them reach out to
Yeah.
you. Anything dealing in real estate, just reach to Andre. He definitely can help you. So we thank you for coming on the show, and we will see you later. Oh, how can people contact you? How did I forget that?
Mm, mm, mm. They can contact me at 7. I'm putting down here,
Of
nine
course,
seven
I
zero
do
eight
know.
932 8526. They can reach out to me. they can call me, or they can hit my email at ahill. And I'm typing it on the thing here. My wife gave me access to the controls, y'all. That's the advantage of being the husband here. At Kemper Realty.com. You can reach out to me as well. Send me an email. But let's get it going. In 2022, you need some help with them Airbnbs. You want to sell your properties? Let's go. I got a team. I got some people that can get this stuff done, and we can do it remotely.
I know. That's the beauty about it. That's the beauty about it. All right. Well, we thank you for being a guest here today. Okay.
Yeah, you got to have me back on this show. I really like this show, Contemporary Living. It's a great show.
Thank you. Thank you. It
Watch
is a
out,
great show, and
Oprah.
because we have great guests. We have great guests like
Yeah,
you. You're our first guest of the year. Season 2, episode 1, Mr. Andre Hill. That's history,
thank you.
baby. That's
You,
2022.
hey, you hear me? Watch out, Oprah. We on your heels.
That's right. That's right. All right, Andre, I'll see you. I'll see you after the show.
All right, I think that's good. You're looking good too. You're looking good. Hey, you got a
Thank
man?
you. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye. All right, you guys, that was Andre. And as I close out, I want to leave you with this quote. Life is not a straight line, so learn to stay grounded when it gets curvy. If you live more than a day or two or three, you know that life's going to throw you some blows. It's never going in a straight line, it's going to be rough. So that's why in that quote, learn to stay grounded. You have to know what you stay grounded in. We stay grounded in biblical principles. We stay grounded in faith and confidence in God. Where do you stay grounded? That's a question you have to ask yourself. It's kind of like being a boxer. Put them up. Because once you're grounded, you can go side to side, you can swerve, you can do all kinds of things. So stay grounded. And as always, we thank God for his unmerited, undeserving favor call. This is a total absence of from doing anything. You can't work for it, you can't buy it, you can't even sell it. It just is. And God gives it to each and every one of us freely every day. And as believers, we know that Christ died for our sins, he was buried, and rose again on the third day for our justification. It's in the word. Now, let that sink in. On behalf of myself and my hardworking husband, Andre Hill, be brilliant, be you, be blessed. And we will see you January 16th. Bye bye.